Let's play! Whoa!
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. You all may call me Pharaoh, and welcome back to Let's Play Raging Loop. Last time we left off, we had our feast, and it was rough. Because as we've already seen so far in this loop, and so far it's been really cemented, Hashimoto is a very, very dangerous individual, especially when, he's against us, because he's human, right? And he's making things really difficult. And we already got caught up in a trap in terms of raising our hand or don't raising our hand. And, yeah. So, now, I think what's happening here is we are kinda stuck, in a sense. I hate saying stuck, but we know Takumi is a snake. And they said, oh, maybe Takumi should be investigated. Well, that really doesn't put us in a good limelight either. So, we'll just see what happens. Like last time, we ended up spending an awkward evening in a dining hall. Tae-san insisted that something bad could happen in the mist again, so she told us to stay inside. After that, Kanzo-san and Takumi-san came back. The former ignored all warnings and left again, but everyone else stayed inside. Takumi-san said that he didn't see Kanzo-san kill the old wolf guy. Oh crap, that's also what happened too. We voted on the old wolf guy again. Just what was happening between them? What if he didn't actually kill him? Was there some secret agreement between the locals where they agreed that the old wolf guy had to live? Was someone hiding him somewhere? Nah, that couldn't be it. He definitely died the first time. I just didn't get it. Soon enough, we started making dinner. I had to check for poison again, clean up, and then we all went back to our rooms. Another one of us might be gone tomorrow. Be prepared for that, at least. After a short silence, everyone gave each other some brief goodbyes and began going their own way. Oh, one last thing. Hashimoto stopped them. I advise against trying to stay outside and have secret meetings. Unlike during the day, we're all spread out. It's hard to tell if someone's nearby. That how it is? Big guy's right. Just head back. Crap. I'd hoped to get a chance to eavesdrop. That meant that the secret chat he'd had at noon only happened because he figured that the wolves couldn't do much during the day. However, it didn't mean that Hashimoto-san had anything concrete. In fact, he would probably deal with potential eavesdroppers by not saying anything important if he met with someone privately. I was more curious about Takumi-san. The exchange between him and Yasunaga-kun might have been extremely important. What? Late at night. We passed out, then put on our wolf outfits, passed through the beast-filled mist, and arrived at the dining hall again. My injury had healed shockingly well. Healing herb power sure was something. I had to remove the taping and get in the wolf costume, though. That aside, that's not what we agreed. There was a strange tension between the three monsters here. But it's really not the right time to kill Yasunaga-kun or Yoshisugu-kun. But if we don't, I know. I don't mean to ignore your wish, but it's just that... Well, who do we kill then? There's two candidates. Takumi Muro-san and Yudai Hashimoto-san. Because they're good at controlling the conversation? Yes. Especially Hashimoto-san. He's doing an amazing job convincing everyone to handle this rationally. Also, he's a lot smarter and sharper than he looks. Let your guard down and he'll instantly expose us all. I told him about how dangerous he was, citing the secret chat thing in the morning and a trick question during the feast. You sure you're not overthinking it? And why Takumi-ni? He might be the snake. Huh? I was already suspicious yesterday, but now I'm almost certain. Yesterday, when asked whether anyone would volunteer to be lynched, he said he couldn't die yet. I thought a lot about it, and the yet part really bothered me. Couldn't die on its own would have seemed natural. Also, he met with Yasunaga-kun secretly today. At first I thought he wanted to cheer him up since Chiyami was dead and all. but looking at how they behaved, it seems likely that they met up to talk about the feast.
That seems possible. It was a bit strange how he called Yasunaga to talk. But what about it?
He's a pretty open guy, isn't he? Not the type of guy to hold secret meetings, right? He probably knows full well that you can't just keep any secrets here in Yasumizu.
And
he still took Yasunaga-kun to meet in secret. That requires a lot of trust, if you ask me. That's why I think that he's the snake, and that he investigated Yasunaga-kun yesterday. Another thing, he didn't raise his hand when we volunteered to be investigated by the snake.
Oh, that was okay, right? I didn't raise that first.
It's fine. You raised later, and that's natural. However, considering his position, he should have raised his hand and agreed to be investigated before anyone else. He didn't do it because he's the snake and already figured that raising his hand would have been pointless. I just think he wasn't paying enough attention to act like a normal human, rather than a snake. That was also why he was slow to react to the idea that we should investigate him, yet he accepted it without any argument.
I guess so? It does look like his words were a bit strange back then. I understand you're worried, but why today? Takumi-san won't investigate himself, but there's no guarantee it will be one of us, right?
That was a naive thing to say. I really don't trust myself. If he's a snake, and if he was suspicious of me to begin with, my words might have made him even more suspicious.
But if your theory is true, it's possible that Takumi-san told Yasunaga that he's a snake, right?
That's possible.
Then we should get rid of him, shouldn't we?
We should. Within the next few nights.
Very well. As long as we go for Yasunaga tomorrow, I'll let you pick today's victim. I really don't care which.
Thank you. However, if we killed one, we couldn't go for the other one for a while. Today's choice was bound to greatly affect what happened next. Now, which one? Now, frankly, I still believe that by going after Hashimoto, it's gonna be detrimental to us because I just really, really feel that Takumi is going to investigate us, and then it's all downhill from there. At the same time, we know super well how dangerous Hashimoto is. So, against better judgment, I am going to go after him, but I'm almost 100% certain that it's going to end up bad, but he's just way too damn deadly to keep alive, if that makes sense. My suspicions of Takumi-san being no snake were nothing more than that. Unlike detective novels, people didn't always act according to logic. It was risky to take a web of strange words and look at them in black and white. But it was almost certain Hashimoto-san was dangerous. He had to be eliminated. I'll kill Hashimoto-san.
I understand. However...
Yes, we will kill Yasunaga-kun tomorrow, but it'll be a different story if we discover the snake.
Well, that's not good. If I don't kill Yasunaga for sure tomorrow, I'll...
Don't take the Feast of the Yomi Purge lightly. It's not easy to win each round. You may be satisfied focusing on your sons, but Haru-chan and I can't do that. Fulfilling Great Lord Shinai's order, resolving this incident internally, and making sure at least Haru-chan escapes. That is my responsibility. We can't rely on a simple suicide attack.
Alright. If we don't kill one of them tomorrow night, I will kill my sons during the day. Kiyori-san, you can't do that. I won't cause either of you trouble, and if I kill them both and I'm hanged that day, I will fulfill my duty, correct?
Well, first, there was no guarantee she could successfully kill both, and if she did, that didn't mean the humans would simply kill Kiyori-san. That had happened in a previous loop, but that was a hopeless feast, led by Kiyonosuke-shi and the wolf Yasunaga-kun. In a feast as calm and collected as this one, they probably tie Kiyori-san up and let the corruption have her while they looked for the other wolves. No. Knowing Hashimoto-san, he would torture Kiyori-san and try to get the identities of the other wolves out of her. But I wouldn't explain that. I can't make promises anymore, but I will do everything in my power to try and kill Yasunaga-kun tomorrow night. Can you take that as a heartfelt sincerity?
Kiyori-san, you can't be selfish either. Everyone will die if things go well, so you need to think about ensuring things go that way. It's so hard. I just want this life of mine to be over. Kiyori-san, I'm sorry. I went too far.
Haru-chan, look after Kiyori-san.
What are you doing?
I'll take care of it myself.
All right.
This was the most humane and ethical choice I could manage. I wouldn't let the unfortunate mother and girl dirty their hands and push them even further into a corner. Justification was a wonderful thing. It could apparently drive people to easily commit acts that would be insane otherwise. That's a little... Ugh. I really don't like the distorted prayer going on right now. The door to the hut was surprisingly unlocked, so I went in and committed murder with shocking ease. I used a nearby farming tool as my weapon. Ugh. I severed a big man's head from his torso and chopped him up into bits to make work easier for the cleanup crew the next morning. Oh, how considerate of you. Knowing Hashimoto-san, he may have left a dying message, so I thoroughly destroyed his body just to be safe. It felt like I'd slain an evil troll. I'd done the deed in under an hour, and probably easier than it would have been if all three of us had done this together. As suspected, I found a camera, so I smashed it to pieces and buried it in the massive corpse. I made sure to destroy it at an angle that would destroy the memory card too, in a way that made it look natural. After all, I didn't want people pointing fingers at city dwellers tomorrow for having clearly gone out of their way to destroy it. Good. I was calm. I told the others it was all over, and that we parted for the day.
Wait!
Haru-chan called to me near the end of our trip back to our homes.
Sorry for leaving it all to you today.
Huh? I'm the one who should apologize for leaving Kiyori-san entirely up to you.
Killing is harder, isn't it?
It was easier than you think. It might be best if I do all the brutalization starting tomorrow as well. I get the feeling Kiyori-san will go completely insane if she kills her sons with her own hands.
You do know that that means she might try to kill you then.
It's definitely possible.
What a handful.
Nah, I'd say you're pretty formidable yourself.
Sorry.
Nah, don't be. You were still a big help in keeping Kiyori-san in order.
It's the least I can do. I'll come aid with the killing tomorrow if I can.
Like I said,
I just don't want to leave it all to someone playing a good guy like you.
Wow, you actually said it. Okay, I'll be counting on you tomorrow. Oh, but don't go overboard during the day, alright?
Yep. I'll just be the same old dumb cowardly teen rebel as always.
Wait, you mean that's all an act normally?
No, but any idiot's capable of at least that much introspection. Good night.
Good night. When I called her formidable, I was referring to back then. Yes, back in that time when she instantly killed me for trying to abandon my role as a wolf. Naturally, I'd assume she'd just give me a confused look. I'd say it was nothing, and that'd be the end of that. I wonder what exactly she was apologizing for. It bugged me, but I returned to the prefab, took off the outfit, and got changed. I learned yesterday that it was best to wear the costume with little clothing, so it was a simple task. The bloodstained wolf outfit would be gone by morning. I laid down, and slumber soon took me away. The next morning, as I expected, the outfit had vanished. As I expected, there was a big fuss over Hashimoto-san's body. But what I didn't expect was that Takumi-san would beat the crap out of me first thing in the morning. I told you guys, this bastard's a wolf! Takumi-mura was the snake. Since he knew I was part of the gang that killed Hashimoto-san, he didn't hesitate to use full force on me. The feast was over in a flash. Everyone voted to lynch me. I wasn't even allowed to vote on account of my face and throat being all smashed, so I did mean everyone. Given the situation, Haru-chan and Kaori-san didn't waste any votes on trying to save me, naturally. What was all that thinking for yesterday? Takumi-san really was a snake. He really did suspect me, and everyone really did trust him once he got the chance to show off his strength. I was embarrassed that I tried to act like a good guy. But next time, I would get Takumi-san for sure. Oh, the mist was... Well, the mist was bad. Alright. So, well, I am a little bit curious why he ended it off like that. So, just like I figured, he definitely is a snake. I guess I'm just a little surprised that they just took his word like that, you know? So, that means Hashimoto is still going to be a very dangerous opponent, but at least Takumi-san won't be there, and maybe we can try sneaking our way in to be the snake ourselves. We'll see about that. Oh, another werewolf mistake. Did you win this time, huh? Don't be discouraged. Lynched by Takumi's superb influence. Why you die should be obvious. You let Takumi more live. You die, Hashimoto is a threat for sure, but you need to stick up to priorities. Yep. Okay. I figured as much, but, you know, I just have to see all these endings. Even if they're not really, like, all that interesting most of the time. I like to see everything I can in a game. You guys know me. So, back to darkness. End of the big man. Okay. Who to brutalize. Notice there's a who to brutalize 1. So that means we're obviously going to have others. So, but let's go after Takumi. Personally, I found Hashimoto-san to be the biggest threat. I didn't see any openings or weaknesses on him. However, I knew full well just how influential Takumi-san was. Though he sometimes lacked confidence, once he found some, he could kill off the wolves through his initiative and popularity alone. Then there was the fact that he might be the snake. I really couldn't ignore him. We'll kill Takumi-san.
Very well. But...
Yes, we'll go for Yasunaga-kun tomorrow night. About that, though. Haru-chan.
What?
Yasunaga-kun will probably be in a state of shock again tomorrow, so you do your best to console him. We need to prevent him from declaring that Takumi-san told him he was a snake, and that he confirmed that Yasunaga-kun was a human. With Takumi-san dead, most would find his words trustworthy. Pretending to be the snake would become really difficult then. You understand?
I do. But how do I even do that? Honestly, I don't think I can pull something like that off.
Well...
I'll do it. I just have to make sure Yasunaga doesn't talk about that in or around outside a feast, right?
Yes, basically. Can you do that?
I'm his mother. No one will suspect us if we have a talk as family. There's also the fact that, well, Takumi-san isn't a stranger to me.
Huh. Okay.
And if he tells me that Takumi-san is a snake, I will tell him that I suspect Kanzo-san. I'd say that he killed the snake because he was afraid of being investigated. It's possible that Kanzo-san realized what Takumi-san was, right?
Yes. Now that you mention it, he acted weird in front of everyone there.
Exactly. I'll also tell him to keep quiet about it because he could be next.
I might have severely underestimated her. I'd assumed she was a timid person without much of her own opinion on anything, but oh, was I wrong. I didn't know whether she was holding back or just using her imagination and proactiveness in a negative way. But she was really dependable in a situation like this. Please avoid saying things only wolves can know or claim that Takumi-san is a snake before he does. It won't be any good for us if Yasunaga-kun starts to suspect you.
Oh, but suspicion is no problem. He'll die tomorrow night after all.
I had to hold back from cursing at her. A mother was intending to kill her own child, and it made me feel unpleasant. That was the right thing to feel, wasn't it?
Then I won't have to do anything, right?
Yeah, for now. Okay. Her sudden grin was so out of nowhere. I had no idea what to make of it, and neither did Kiyori-san. Takumi-san's place was close to the plaza. There was nothing out of the ordinary around it. That meant that would be my first real murder. Our first kill as wolves. Was I really gonna do this? Would the door really open? Would I really open it and just carry out the deed? More nervous than I appeared, I put my hand on the door. Click. I felt it unlock. Seriously? Let me check something.
Huh? Hey!
I ran around, checking several houses. The detached dwelling that Yoshisuke-kun lived, Miko's place, Kanzo-san's place, Rikaku-san's place, all of them were locked. Apparently, you can only unlock the first door you touch. It's best not to touch the knobs without thinking.
I see. So we got no choice but to kill Takumi-ni.
Exactly. I'm opening it. This would be my first time here since I investigated his corpse here in the first loop. It was a simple room. There was a futon in the middle, and his large body was right there. He was sleeping. Defenseless. He wouldn't wake up, right?
Hey, how will we kill him?
I actually was curious if we were going to be provided some means of killing. The murders I'd known so far had been outside the norm, but they weren't something beyond human ability. But I also thought that they'd been a bit excessive, assuming their sole purpose was murder. I still didn't know if there was something that compelled them to do that, but apparently you had to come up with your own method of murder. Let's use something here. Thankfully, we had a lot of options. There were various old farming tools nearby. The edged ones, sickle, hoe, etc. It looked extremely fitting for the purpose. There was even an axe. It would make it really easy. An axe could destroy a human body in no time. I'll ask, just in case. Either of you want to do it? All right. I'll do it. I raised the axe overhead and hesitated. This memory, the fact that I committed murder, would probably stay with me even if I looped. I keep this moment, this feeling, until the day I died. That was hardly a problem. My aim was true. The axe sunk into Takumi-san's neck. Blood burst out of the wound and started bubbling out ceaselessly. That was definitely lethal. However, the blade wasn't too wide or large. This wasn't a broad axe or anything. Thus, I swung it down again. And again. And again. His head left his body before the 10th swing. Jesus. I don't know how to feel about obviously this is terrible, but the idea that Fusashi says that he hardly had a problem with having this memory forever, I don't know. I took his head in hand. His eyes were open wide. His expression was full of anguish. At this point, I wasn't sure if he'd been completely unconscious or not. I nonchalantly showed it to the two behind me. Applause. They actually applauded me.
Well done. Good job.
Pure joy and words of praise. My earlier sense of disgust returned. Why? Why did these people suddenly cease having a conscience the moment they became wolves? This was wrong. They were supposed to show disgust. They needed to. If they didn't, To whose standards was I supposed to adjust my conscience? Sense of right and wrong, and good and evil? I tossed the head on the floor. I then held it in place with my foot. Cut it with the axe over and over. Struck it over and over. It was almost completely unrecognizable now. I kicked away the damaged skull, still covered in flesh and hair in places. It was heavy, so my leg hurt. I left a pool of blood where it rolled. Before even looking at it, I took a random farming tool and thrust it into his torso. I then took another tool and sank it into his shoulder. I opened his stomach. I cut up his limbs. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, he was about, like, saying all disgust for Haru and Kiori applauding him, but what's happening here? That's enough. Stop. By the time someone stopped me, the corpse is in such a state that you'd think the corruption was responsible for it. You didn't have to go this far, did you? Not even those words were out of disgust or guilt. They simply thought it was a waste of time. Let's go. Still pissed, I went to the exit, not even looking back at them. You need to cleanse! I felt some water hit my back, but I was too pissed to even react before leaving. I took off the bloody wolf outfit and just threw it on the floor. I learned yesterday that it was best to wear the costume without any upper clothing, so I was able to relax after just wiping off the sweat and changing my underwear. The room began to reek of blood, but Great Lord Shinai would probably clean all this up anyway. Shit. I was pissed. Even though I knew they'd lose their sense of guilt, I was still pissed. Shit. I just wanted to sleep. But I couldn't really do that with someone knocking on my door. Who the hell could it be? Kiori-san? Haru-chan? Shinai himself? It was still late at night, so it couldn't be anyone else from the village. Police, then? Well, that'd be a laugh. I ignored it, though. I was too pissed. More knocking. More ignoring. Uh-oh. My, oh my, you certainly are easily offended, city dweller. Now that I couldn't ignore. I jumped up and leapt to the door so quickly I almost tripped. This was the mystery surrounding Haru-chan. The brutalization had distracted me from my primary goal here. I hadn't expected her to come to me. Upon opening the door, I saw something I didn't really expect. This was... I knew it. It was... I mean, look at that, guys. Let me hide this really quick. Look how easily distinguishable, like, it is, like, just by looking at the hair, you know? And, like, the body type and everything. Like, it wasn't super hard to figure out, like, yeah, I think that's Haru. Now, asking why is it Haru was a whole different question, but, you know, still. The wolves cometh. To the smell of Yomi. Cleanse, shelter, and dream. Daughter of Fushiyoshi. That was Haru-chan? Now that I got a better look, the physique, hairdo, and even the voice were similar. But why would she wear that? No, forget that. How did she make it all the way here without her wolf outfit? No need to be surprised. These are my kin. Consider them an extension of me. Behind her, I felt the beasts closer than at any point today or yesterday. No, I could actually see them. Countless eyes glowed in the darkness nearby. She gently extended her hand. A few of them looked at her, and even a few even came close. The weak light from outside the prefab lit them up. Dogs. They really were dogs. Some were white, some brown, some had long ears, some didn't even have a tail. It was a pack of countless feral-looking mid-sized dogs. All of them had blood and filth on them, as well as severe wounds here and there. Their clenched teeth, their furrowed noses, and widened eyes spoke volumes of the rage and perhaps even hatred within them. The girl clad in aged cloth didn't seem to care, standing still even as they surrounded her. Not only that, but she reached out to pet one of them. Are you one of the three gods?
Oh, yes. Apologies if that did not seem obvious before. As you can see, I am a lonely, powerless god who cannot do much beyond playing with beasts.
Please come in.
My, oh my. Do you not think it dangerous to invite a god to your home? What if I were to spirit you away?
Sorry, but I don't understand your rules.
Reasonable. You city dwellers worship a god called Science, do you not?
Science isn't a god.
Oh, it is. You did not know. Oh, but wait. You do not believe in anything, do you? I truly, sincerely apologize.
Okay, this really was... Should I step outside?
No need for that. You cannot leave that place without that filthy costume on to all these children. The edge of the territory is a boundary, and talks between men and gods can be had through them.
I see. Okay then. What are you?
I've already answered that, have I not?
A god. A powerless god. That's not enough. The legends don't say anything about... Wait. The badger. For the first time, she simply nodded instead of saying it. It made me uneasy. Do you hate that name?
Not at all. It is not wrong in the least. It is a fitting name for someone wearing the marks of Great Lord Shania and acting as leader of these mutts.
You used to be a different god, right? Legends of Myths can change not throughout the borrowing aspects from other Legends of Myths, but also through political events. So basically, yeah, myths and legends can change over time and however we see fit. Gods will marry, gods and places they annex or war will become god servants or demons. All separate, all very fascinating things. I've always been a sucker for mythology and all that, so any more I can learn, pretty damn cool. A forgotten god. A mountain god besides Great Lord Shania. With the creation of the Shania faith, she was woven into it as his servant and left mostly forgotten. That was the entity possessing her.
Well, that is what I am, but I did not come here to speak of myself.
Well, personally, I had a whole ton of questions, but since I didn't want to make her upset, I let her take the lead. What do you want to know?
Why the rampage?
You don't know?
I understand you are upset with this girl, but I cannot read any other color you display. If you do not want to kill, you could have stopped after the first hack, and if that did not deem it sufficient, you could have handed them the tool. Yet you joyously cut the large man up into pieces.
I need those two to stay normal. I can't be normal unless I'm surrounded by normal people. As a person, I lack any kind of real foundation, so I lose myself without some source of normalcy to ground myself with. I don't actually mind losing myself and having to create a new me, but having one forced on me pisses me off.
No real foundation, you say? How curious. Is that not itself your foundation? That is, a man who was frustrated when outdone by others.
Perhaps you're right.
Then why are you afraid of me? Those seized by anger hold neither fear nor reverence, do they not?
I'm scared of things I don't understand.
That does not seem the truth to me. I see how it is. You cannot differentiate between fear and excitement, can you? And you do not like it when others control that. Am I correct? We are even now.
She took my displeased expression in silence as a yes and laughed. You can read minds?
It's a little more than a parlor trick to me.
You also read my memories, so you know about my looping.
My, oh my. You realize it already. I expected it to keep it a secret a bit longer.
In other words, neither you nor Haru-chan experience what I do.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. Unfortunately, even I am but a jester dancing atop another god's palm.
Can you tell me about this god? The one behind it all?
I cannot.
Why?
Because I am too weak.
If you tell me, I'll turn it all around. I'll even help you regain your former glory.
Know your limits, city dweller.
I gasped with a sudden intensity.
Allow me to correct you. A powerless god is one that is of no use to mankind, not one incapable of calamities beyond their knowing. I am powerless now, and I behave like this adorable maiden, but I used to be more fear than any. You believe you can bring that glory back? Do you believe you would honor me by burning several nearby villages and hanging all the people? Speaking on this dreary night is only meant to ease my ennui. That's another damn word where it's like, I know I've heard it before, I know I can say it, but looking at the spelling of it, I'm like, my brain just shuts off. There's nothing to be gained from it.
So this was just a diversion for her. I couldn't consider it significant. Was that what she was telling me?
This has grown dull. Keep my words in mind. May we meet again on the following evening.
She turned around and I felt the beasts rush away. Please wait! Why did you come to me anyway?
Oh, that's something I will gladly reveal. Essentially, this girl was concerned about you.
Haru-chan? She was?
Fusashi-san was so mad. What's gone into him? As a servant of Great Lord Shinai, one who detests the mark of Yomi, she was considerate of you, her partner. Even if you do not understand this, do show care for her. She is powerless as well, so seeing you can be vexing at times.
Does Haru-chan know about you?
Maybe.
So I can't expect you to pass on a message to her then.
I am too powerless even for that. I can try to show up in her dreams, though.
Then I'll tell her myself.
Farewell.
One more thing.
What?
You're a cute god.
I see. You truly are as warped as you claim to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure if flirting with a god is a good thing, but okay. Well, those words as her last, she disappeared into the night mist. Whew. Okay, well, that was a very interesting night, to say the least. And I know before I was really concerned why we were like going crazy on his corpse, but I guess like you said, if he went far and he seemed demented, then I guess that would kind of ground Kaori-san and Haru-chan. Maybe. We'll see. The next morning came, As I expected, the wolf outfit and all the blood had vanished. That didn't mean that it was all a dream, though. Takumi-san's mutilated corpse was soon discovered, shocking the whole settlement. That was when I noticed the murder scene was full of wet footprints. They were the same as the ones left by the previous wolves, as I now understood why they were there. They'd also wore those wet costumes. They didn't even continue that outside the house, though. Apparently, Great Lord Shinai took care of the costumes as well as evidence. What a methodical god. I was probably the only one who could be so clear-headed. Tae-san took this especially hard. She refused food and instead just prayed at one edge of the dining hall. Kanzo-san was looking really weary as well. First Chiemi, now Takumi-san. He was losing people he depended on one after the other. His reaction was only natural. As you'd expect, Yasunaga-kun had gone pale once more. The person who consoled him the previous day was now gone forever, after all. Then there was Kiyori-san. She looked shaken, and had already broken 2 plates. Everyone assumed her state was caused by Takumi-san's death. They were close, after all, and everyone was sympathetic. I knew that she was actually just tense because she was planning to trap her sons and kill them, but I didn't say a word, of course. Breakfast was over, and we finished washing the dishes. Kanzo-san prepared to go clean up Takumi-san, and... "Yasu, help out," said that, which made a chill go down my spine. I had no idea what kind of info the two would exchange if they had a secret chat. "Okay. Wait, I'll go." That was why Yoshisugu-kun's words were a big help. "It'll be more useful than this empty husk." Let's go." "Do what you have to, Yoshisugu." "Hag, you help the idiot get the point." "Come with me, Yosunaga." It was going great. Yoshisugu-kun returned from cleaning up and Kanzo-san went patrolling, but Yasunaga-kun and Kiyori-san still hadn't returned. A bit worried, I finished cleaning up and relaxed when... "Haruaki-sama, may I have a moment?" Someone called out to me. "It is about Miko." Oh. That was an issue I'd nearly forgotten. A short distance from everyone else there, around 10 steps away from Tae-san and her prayers, we started whispering to each other. Is she still being rebellious? "Yes. I mean, until recently, she needed my help dressing up, but now she does not. It might be a good thing, but..." She ate alone too, didn't she? It was cute, though. "Yes, and she always says that Oni-chan and Fusayuki-san should hang." A small girl basically saying that she wants to murder. What family delinquents did she grow up with? Delinquents? Yeah. Oh, we have poorly raised children outside this village as well. Oh my. Well, still, what's with her? I do not know. Actually, I worry that she might be the badger that Hashimoto-sama mentioned. There. She noticed it too, as she probably wasn't alone. Maybe. A human that sides with the wolves? Is that why she wants to hang the humans? In Kamafujiyoshi, people believe the wolves are good, and that the other guardians have sided with Yomi. Did someone tell her? Is that why she changed sides? Maybe. Or maybe you and I did something to get on her bad side. I mean, nothing comes to mind. But I think we can just ignore her for now. I doubt that anything she says will affect the other participants. I mean, can we really be so optimistic? She has a right to vote, just like everyone else in the feast. Well, that's not really good, but if you follow the rules, the only way to get rid of her is by hanging. If that saves us one of the feasts, perhaps I should... That would be good for us. Please don't. It'll be a waste of a human vote. And just cruel in general.
I understand. Thank you for showing mercy to her, Haruaki-sama.
Rikaku-san, why do you care about her so much? She's just a lost child you picked up, isn't she?
Taking in children without a place to go and raising them was one of the roles of the Uematsu.
Really?
Yes. The Uematsu did not care much for lineage and actively accepted orphans and those without a place to go as their own.
I could only assume they needed more bedroom woman servants to fulfill their evening duties. Rikaku-san, you really value tradition, don't you?
Yes. That's the kind of world I grew up in.
This whole area was a separate realm, but built around the worship of Great Lord Shinai. From my perspective, she was very unfortunate to have been born here. But perhaps, from her point of view, being a city boy without the pillars of faith and tradition to support me was far more unfortunate. I couldn't deny that a world where they live and die hadn't changed for centuries could be easier to live in. A well-balanced aquarium didn't need much to stay stable. It just had to continue following already established processes. However, in the real world, closed systems were extremely hard to maintain. Other animals, diseases, lineages, ideals, the system was threatened by countless things. In liberated societies, however, the people had to develop a strong will, with a blend of common sense and individuality, and constantly conflict with each other. Not like that couldn't crumble as a result of outside influences, either, but there was no denying that it was tougher than a secluded, happy society. Open societies exchange certain happiness for a practical, universal simplicity we call money. That reasoning was probably a bit shaky, though. Anyway, this settlement, as well as Fujiyoshi, would eventually fall victim to our aging society. Without a single person here, Great Lord Shinai would, just like the Badger, or the nameless mountain god, be forgotten and vanish. The Uematsu, her included, would simply vanish faster than the rest. Thus, what I felt for her right now was merely sympathy for something facing its inevitable end. A worthless sentiment you could have about anything. None of that had happened. I'd thrown away even Chiyomi.
Haruaki-sama, is something troubling you?
But why would you think that?
You were wearing a frightening expression.
Sorry. I had to keep a tight grip on my conscience. Without deciding what to do about Miko, I returned to the dining hall where I found Yasunaga-kun and Kiyori-san. Yasunaga-kun seemed a bit better than before, but only slightly. Kiyori-san looked the same, though, so I couldn't tell if she'd succeeded in getting Yasunaga-kun to not talk about Takumi-san.
Let's prepare lunch, shall we? The feast will start soon. Can you wash the pot for me?
Of course. I opened the metal pot I'd grown used to using. I found a piece of paper inside. Very, very, very smart of Kaori. Takumi didn't tell Yasunaga anything about being a snake. He simply consoled Yasunaga about Chiyomi-chan's death and talked about how they could proceed with the feast. Maintaining my poker face, I brought the pot to the sink and filled it with water, getting the paper all wet. The fountain pen letters quickly became unreadable. I then used a scrubbing brush to quickly tear it apart, rolled it into a ball, and threw it into the trash. Was Kiyori-san aware just how risky that was? Anyway, that info was extremely important. Takumi-san hadn't told him about being a snake? What was I to make of that? The first time, Takumi-san had revealed he was a snake on the very first day. Why would he be so careful now? What if he wasn't the snake? What if Yasunaga-kun lied to his mother as a precaution? Crap. Kiyori-san's note didn't tell me anything about how she'd asked about it or the nuances of the replies. But this could definitely be a good time to come out as a snake. What was I to do now? I thought about that for every second of lunch. I did think I kept a normal expression on my face at least. I took far too long to decide that. Regardless of circumstances, I needed to claim a role. Oh, man. You know, I gotta say, looking at everybody here now, it looks odd. Like, I don't know how to put it, but because of what? It's 3 people that are God now, right? It's Chimi, the old man who cried wolf, and Takumi. It's 3 people, but it looks shockingly super empty somehow. I'm not sure how to put it, but regardless, I know I'm not exactly at a full hour, but I feel that this is a good place to stop the moment because I'm curious to know how this feast is going to go, and I feel that it can drag on a little bit, and it can really go any which way. Like, first off, I mean, it's a good thing that Takumi is gone, because I know we're trying to figure out, like, is he really the snake? Well, considering the other deaths that we had, it seemed like he really was. So, it does seem beneficial for us to claim that, yes, we are the snake. We'll have to explain why we haven't said anything earlier, but I think they can pretty much... You know, we can say, like, well, I didn't want to say anything because everybody I was investigating was human, blah, 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 you know? Hashimoto, though, is going to be the most dangerous. And I don't know if we're going to have another chance to go after him for real this time. Because I assume we're going to need to brutalize or kill more people. The thing is, though, we already kind of agreed with Kiyori-san that we'll take care of her sons tonight. So, now that I think about that, which I guess we're like, she kept mentioning Yasunaga-kun or Yasunaga first instead of Yoshi, but it makes me wonder if we did a reverse way, like how is she gonna react? I am a little bit worried about Kiyori, even though we're technically on the same side. She could literally go any which way. So yeah, this can still go many ways, and we still need, I want to say 6 more keys. Let me check that. If I keep forgetting how what buttons bring up what. So yeah, I'm missing 1 and 3, 8 and 9 if I'm not mistaken, and how many up here? Yeah, 19 and 20. So funny enough, we got. It feels weird that we got a majority of the keys. I know I kept thinking, like, we need a lot more, but I feel like we're kind of getting there. And once we get a few more of these keys, I have a feeling we're going to have to go back to all these various paths here and fix some stuff. Or not fix it, but, like, fill in some information. For example, this is the one that's really bothering me. Her objective. This is when we were drinking with Chiyomi, and she's like, oh, what do you really think I'm here for? Blah, blah, blah. I'm very curious to know where the hell this is going to take us. But there's so much left to do, I like to think. So, I'm really hoping that the game doesn't just go full speed toward the ending. Because some visual novels tend to do that, where things are building up, they're building up, they're building up, things are revealed, and then it just rockets to the end. And, like, it feels a little, well, besides saying rushed, but kind of anticlimactic. It's like, let me soak in the atmosphere, you know? I'm wondering if this game will do the same or not, but I guess we'll see. Regardless, in the next episode, as I mentioned, we'll go through this feast, and we'll see how it pans out. So, as usual, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time for Let's Play Raging Loop. Love you all so much. Have a great day.